going to try to make this as short and simplistic as I can, mostly because that's the way Taurus likes it, but you know how like when someone has a baby and everyone's like all around them, crowding them, it's like, let me feel a kick or whatever, and then when they're like at the hospital and it's like, oh, it's a great baby, and they're crying and everything, and you know, they won't let the parents or the baby breathe at that point, but then like right after, like once they take them home, and it's like, you know, like, see ya, and they're just gone. And those people don't come back again until, I don't know, until the baby hits like its fun stage, like kind of like the point where like the mom can take it and put it in one of those like playpens and like go off and iron or something and not worry about it, like just dropping dead all of a sudden without her being there. But like see, like at that point, then for the people to come back, then it's not about really like, what can I do for the baby? It's what can the baby do for me? Because the baby, it's kind of got this whole thing figured out. Like, they don't have to feed it every 2 hours, and then they can like play with it with toys. And like, oh, he's into toys now? Oh, then I'll come over. You know, like, it's not the 24-hour pooping, peeing, feed me machine that it was. So that stage of baby, that's what Taurus is. I mean, like, the age that it rules is the fun baby. So, let's see, if you want to think of it like that, it's kind of like life is good for the baby. Like, it feels like it has things figured out. Like, if I cry this certain way, then I'm going to get food. When I'm hungry, I'm going to be fed. When I need my binky, it's always there. When I need my teddy bear, they'll bring it to me. I can sleep when I want. I can do whatever I want. Like, they're calm because they sort of feel like they have the world figured out. Like, it's no more like fear or mindedness, or it's like, oh, I kind of got everything I want here, you know, like I'm settled and happy and everything. It's like that. And that's kind of why, like, they're fixed Earth, is because, well, for one thing, that, like, their stopping age point, that you've heard me talk about before if you watch my videos, but, like, that means they don't, like, they can't change after that baby stage. Like, all the big changes would have happened, like, when they were about newborns, and then once they hit that older baby stage, it's like, they're stuck there. Which is kind of how all Tauruses is, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying, they're not going to change much throughout their lifetime. They're kind of settled in. And, okay, so what is the baby fear? Like, almost nothing. Like, the only time that they really freak out is when something big happens. Like, let's say the mom comes in and she's like, oh, I'm going to take the teddy bear away and throw it in the washer because it's disgusting. And the kid's like, oh, okay, well, she's done that before, and I'll get him back. And then let's say the mom ruins it in the dryer or something, and like the teddy bear didn't come back, like, ever. And then eventually the baby realizes this and is like, hey, like, where the hell's my teddy? And it's like something unexpected happened, and you didn't know that could happen, and start thinking, like, could other things happen? Could I never get fed again? Like, what else could happen? But that doesn't happen often. They stay calm for a really long time, because they just kind of assume that they know what's going to happen, and if it's going to be okay, but if it's not okay, then it will be okay, if that makes any sense. Like, you talk to them, and they kind of, like, they'll be, like, let's say you're worried about a storm or something, like, oh, well, storms never get bad here, but you're like, oh, but they could, and they say this one's the storm of the century or something, and they're like, well, if it storms, then we'll have all this backup, and I'll take care of anything. And you're like, but what if it destroys the house, and we don't have a storm shelter and everything? And like, well, but we'll be okay, we're tough, we'll do that, and you just keep coming up with more things that make it more and more dangerous and everything, and they're like, well, it'll be okay. We'll make it through, and that's it. But if let's say they procrastinate through all this, like with the bank foreclosing on their house or something, and let's say the whole time they've been thinking, oh, I'll make enough money, I'll get by, I'll do it, I'll pay it, and blah blah. And then, like, eventually, let's say the bank just goes wacko and says, oh, no, we're going to push you out. If you don't, we're going to have you arrested and everything. And they literally get pushed out. So that is a really big thing to them. That would be like someone setting their playpen on fire and everything. They totally took away their whole comfortable world, and that is when they fucking flip out. So it's especially like that if the person has Taurus Mars, because they'll be calm forever, until something really, really pushes them, and then they'll be like more violent and shit than like almost any of them. They'll get the most extreme because they stay calm for the longest amount of time too. So basically, when you think about it, their age is that baby stage. They're simple. Like, also, like, if you think about the baby in the playpen, he probably thinks that at any moment, since he learned how to stand up, that he could just climb over the playpen wall and be out and about if he wanted to, if mom wasn't looking. He was like, but no, like, they convinced themselves that I don't really want to leave the playpen, and I wouldn't want to upset mother, and, like, I mean, of course, they couldn't really get over the playpen wall, but they sort of think they can, like, no matter what happens, like, no, I choose to be here, like, I don't know, they kind of think they're invincible. Like, even if they get hurt, then, like, oh, it was kind of on purpose, or, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, or, well, really, I'm fine, it's just a flesh wound, that kind of thing, like, I don't know, they don't accept the change, and if there is change, then they'll do their flipping out thing, but then they kind of try to pretend like everything's normal anyway, and sort of get stuck in that mindset of, no, everything's fine, I may have lost everything and nothing is the way it used to be, but really, it is the way it used to be. Everything's exactly the same. It's kind of like that, they think that way, which, a baby kind of wouldn't be, kind of like cry a little bit and be upset for a while, and then it would go back to its baby state, which is kind of what they do, but they don't literally cry, they'll do their little, what do you call that, hissy fit or whatever, and maybe hold a grudge for the rest of their life, who knows, but, and then they'll go back to their normal state, pretend like everything's normal. Because they really do believe that it is normal. Because they truly have it in their head, convinced that things are the way they are, and nobody can change them. Nobody's gonna get in the way. They're always gonna stay that way. It's just, that's the way it is. Because they're fixed earth. Kind of like the baby. He never thinks that there's going to be a time when he doesn't want his pacifier anymore, or, maybe mom's not going to be there, or something. Because she never has been awake. So, they definitely like their comfort. Like, to the baby it would be favorite teddy bear, blanket, or whatever, and to Taurus it'd be, I don't know, bottle of whiskey, or their perfect chair, or anything, literally anything. It's usually physical objects, though, because that's the stage, like, well, they like to have their stuff. Like, they like to have the milk and the pacifier and the playpen, because that's like kind of like their whole world at that moment, is their nice stuff, like mommy, and the stuff that's there, and it's like you can feel it. It's not going to go anywhere, or so they think, and that's why it's the sign that's has the sentence I have to represent, because they need to be able to reach out and touch the things that matter to them. Like a baby. Like a newborn is kind of different, like that's Aries, but like once they get to this stage, then it's like, oh, I feel this whole new world, and that must be the whole world. There can't be anything beyond that, because I can feel this, I can touch this, I know it's there. Trying to think of what else. Okay, so you think about that and translate it into the moon, then that would just be kind of the way they think. Their mind set, or openness of their mind would never go beyond basically babyhood. I would say very closed-minded, but that's not always bad. Venus, of course, Venus rules like relationships and stuff, so if you just put that in the relationship stance, they need to have physicality, they need to have security, don't like change. If any of you know someone with Taurus Venus or anything, then you already know that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I don't even need to explain how it's like fixed and rock-like they are. But I think that's about it. I vowed I was going to make this simple. Okay, so that's basically it. Like, that's their age. The first 4, or at least 3 signs of the zodiac are more about simplicity and the starting out. The other ones are more complicated, I guess, but not necessarily in a good way. But, so I'm going to keep it simple. And also, like, Taurus is fixed Earth, so it is the most simple sign. It doesn't want to change. It just wants to be there for eternity. So you don't want to overthink it when you're thinking about them or what to do for them or anything. You want to think straight line. Don't go too far out. Don't overthink it, just straight. Because if you're like a Libra or I don't know, Sagittarius or a Pisces or anything, you're going to be thinking, oh, maybe he's doing this because of that, or this or that, or maybe it's this brain thing, or blah, blah, blah. No, just quit it right now. Just think exactly like what they said, just straight think. Simple. Don't overthink it. Ever. Because you'll be wrong, and if you even bring it up to them, they're going to be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I said I wanted this and that. So that's obviously what I meant. So just don't do that, because you'll fucking piss them off, and, well, you don't want to piss off Taurus on your back, so, Also, I didn't mean to offend you about the baby thing, because it really is your age, and there's nothing wrong with babies. I mean, almost everybody loves babies anyways, especially the fun baby stage where you don't have to take care of them as much. So, anyways, be happy.